and rolling slippers while God takes her in his loving arms. While she sings, precious Lord, take my hand, where she'll rest forever. Much respect and love for Aretha Franklin, Aaron Neville.
Yeah, the Heavenly Choir just got a great new addition.
You got a solo act in there.
Yes.
Aaron, how do you have yourself had a remarkably long and successful musical career. I mean, this is a woman who has been performing for 50 years. Throughout her career, times have changed so much. She's had a role in civil rights. She's had remarkable influence in different genres in music. She even succeeded in opera. What's your sense of Aretha Franklin? And we call her the Queen of Soul, but she's the queen of so much more, really.
She was just a queen for me. Like she was a special lady. I remember one time she was in New Orleans at the Jazz Fest. And I did a thing a while back called Touch the Field of Cotton. And it was like a commercial. Aretha pulled up in a limo, and a guy came out and said, Miss Franklin would like to have a word with you. I went to the car, the window came down, and she pulled her shades down and said, love that cotton commercial. So that's one of my highlights with Aretha.
Eric Deggans, we all know you as a media critic, a media analyst, but in fact you were a music critic before this. And this is kind of the amazing thing when you look through Aretha Franklin's career, starting in gospel, moving into secular music, into R&B, into soul, into pop, into opera, and throughout her life sort of bobbing and weaving between different types of music.
Yeah, you made a great point just a little bit earlier that she was the queen of so much more than soul, and one of the greatest artists to prove that a voice that was steeped in black music traditions like gospel and soul could then go on to conquer the worlds of pop and even perform in an operatic context. I was actually a recording artist in 1980s. I was in a band that was signed to Motown. And even then, we spent time dissecting the vocal ability and the performances of Aretha Franklin in her later hits like Who's Zoom and Who and Freeway of Love, because she had a way of taking apart a song and bringing power to it and knowing exactly when to sing the heck out of it and exactly when to pull back. And you look at singers ranging from Whitney Houston to Mariah Carey to Mary J. Blige to Beyonce, and you will see the inspiration of Aretha Franklin in every one of their performances, and I'm sure they would agree.
Eric, was she a mentor to these women? Clearly an inspiration, but was she a leader among female artists?
I think her example was certainly provided a lot of leadership. I mean, again, you talked earlier about how songs like R.S. Respect and Natural Woman inspired women in general, but certainly inspired female singers to realize what they could accomplish and how they could be successful. The first woman inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And beyond that, she had difficulties that she overcame in her career. When she was first signed to Columbia Records, those records weren't necessarily as successful as people wanted. She moved to Atlantic and became a legend. And then when things started to peter out there, she moved to Arista Records, and she did the stuff in the 1980s that we remember, Freeway of Love and Who's Zoom and Who, and those classic hits. So she's someone who's been resilient, someone who's proven that talent wins out time and again, and people forget she was an amazing pianist as well.
That's right.
Incredibly talented.
I spoke to Carole King a little earlier, and she was talking about that. To have experience being around Aretha Franklin on a piano was itself transforming. Everybody stick around for a few minutes for us. We're just going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have much more on the life and legacy of Aretha Franklin. We will hear from Carole King as well. Stay with us.
She will definitely be missed. She's one of the original Southern belles in Tennessee with such great artistical talents. She will be missed for her passion, for her talent, for her skill, for her charisma, and for being an entrepreneur, stepping out, being a pioneer, a diva per se in society that a great deal other women as well as artists, men and women, can look upon and admire towards her achievements and what she has accomplished. And of course, one of the greatest songs that I think personally is that You Make Me Feel Like a Woman. I heard about it this morning earlier of her passing. We just want to say to the family, we hope and pray for great comfort and peace up onto the family and the family's friends, and may her legacy live on pertaining to her work that she devoted her heart and her life towards, not only in the musical industry but also in the talent of being an actor. May her work live on throughout the legacy of the world, and may her soul rest in peace. She died at the age of 76. Her hometown is, I believe, Detroit, Michigan, but she is originally a Tennessean from down around Memphis, Tennessee. Great inspirational talent has come from the great state of Tennessee. That's one thing that you'll never be able to beat Tennessee out of, and that is their artists and their artistical entertainment, as well as their ability to be instrumental. That's one thing that out of all the states, I don't think no other state compares to the great state of Tennessee whenever it comes to the entertainment world of great singers, great entertainers, B.B. King, Elvis, Hank Williams, Johnny Cash. I could go on and on and on with some of the greatest talents of the world that has touched all of our lives in some sort or form or fashion. Very inspirational people that had great passion and a great desire to want to be a benefit to society.
What you need, you know got.
Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin.
I cannot tell you the amount of dresses I've ripped and shirts my husband has swept through at weddings dancing to Aretha Franklin. But right there is Aretha Franklin performing in 2009 at President Obama's inauguration. One of her biggest hits was Natural Woman, which was written by legendary singer-songwriter Carole King.
I sat down with King and Reverend Al Sharpton to talk about the life and legacy of the Queen of Soul, including some of her greatest performances.
My most dramatic memory, if you want to call it that, or endearing memory, is she sang at the White House in the last year of President Obama for a jazz night. And I remember I got, Aisha and I got to the White House, and I was saying to somebody, we're going through, and they were having it out in the White House lawn under a tent. And I saw Will, who traveled with Miss Franklin, and I said, "Where's the Queen?" He said, and he did like this, and they brought me to the back, and she was in a room getting her hair done. And she looked at me and said, "Red Mallard, don't get no better than that. Aretha getting her hair done in the White House with a black president, and Daddy could see me now."
Wow.
I didn't know whether to laugh or cry because of the moment, but
sure.
The president really loved Aretha
She's
Franklin.
50 years of American history. Her performing life was 50 years of American history. As Reverend said, her father was a preacher. She started in gospel. She broke all sorts of records in R&B and then in pop. Talk to me about her influence on music, on contemporary music.
Well, I would say, first of all, I am a white Jewish girl, was a white Jewish girl, and totally, influenced by her piano playing style, which, by the way, at that Kennedy Center Honors thing, one of the first things...
This is in December of 2015.
Right.
And she sang Natural Woman for you.
She sang it for me, and later I read an article in which she actually said I was singing it for her, but it sure felt like that, and I was just... oh my God, because the first thing she did, which she doesn't usually do in her later years, she came out on that stage and she sat down at the piano and started to play. And I turned to my daughter, who was sitting behind me, and said, "She's playing."
And you can see more of my discussion with Carole King and the Reverend Al Sharpton on All In tonight at 8 p.m. here on MSNBC. Carole King co-wrote Natural Woman for Aretha Franklin. And she said that she tried to capture Aretha's voice when doing it. And as she said, a Jewish girl from New Jersey, what did she know about that? And boy, did she capture Aretha's voice. And she says, obviously, Aretha did it beautifully. Let's listen.
Looking out on the morning rain, I used to feel so uninspired when I knew I had to face another day.
Yes.
Oh, it made me feel so tired. Before the day I met you, life was so unkind. You are the key to my peace of mind. Oh, you made me feel. You made me feel. You made me feel like a natural woman. When my soul was in the lost and found, a mighty good man was on to claim it. I didn't know just what was wrong with me. Just kiss every day. I'm no longer counting on what I'm living for. If I make you happy, I need you more. You make me.
Sponsored by the Lincoln Summer Invitation Sales Event. Hurry in for limited time offers.
She will be missed. Her great talents, her inspiration. She will be missed. Thank you to my viewers. God bless.